energy in me respects the divinity inside you, and the potential in me recognizes the potential inside you. So I welcome you all with a namaste, namaskar, namaskaram, namaskar, adab, sat sri akal. Hello, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome to each and every one of you. Ladies and gentlemen, before we begin with anything, I would like to say, if you do any work with hard work and determination, as it is said, success will automatically follow you. And I think the entire credit for today's morning goes to each and every one of you sitting here, right? So before beginning with anything, let's give a huge round of applause to each and every one of you sitting here right now. Come on, everybody, we need some energy here. Can we have a huge round of applause? A louder one, come on. Thank you so very much. And along with that, welcome to the 4th edition of India Gold and Jewellery Summit, organized by the Gem and Jewellery Export Promotion Council, supported by the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. India Gold and Jewellery Summit 2024 is organized in association with World Gold Council, Refinery Partner MMTC PAMP, Bullion Partner Diamond India Limited DIL, co-partners ECGC, Fisher and SBI, supported by National Gems and Jewellery Council of India. Along with that, ladies and gentlemen, India Gold and Jewellery Summit is one of the initiatives started by the GJAPC in 2017, an annual congregation designed as a premier platform uniting key stakeholders from both governmental bodies and the trade sector. This gathering serves as a critical forum for deliberation on prevalent issues and challenges encountered within the gems, gold and jewelry sectors. By fostering dialogue and alignment between these entities, the summit contributes significantly to sustainable growth and evolution of gold industry. India Gold and Jewellery Summit is held for the first time at the world-class facility, Bharat Mandapam. Convention Center is equipped with modern infrastructure, as we all can see and experience here, and technology suitable for hosting conclaves, summits, meetings, cultural events, and many such more events. Ladies and gentlemen, now we will be beginning with our first session. For that, I would like to call our moderator of this session firstly. This guy hardly needs any introduction here. Mr. Sabyasachi Ray, our Executive Director, the Gem and Jewellery Export Promotion Council, India. With your applauses, let's please welcome Mr. Sabyasachi Ray. Mr. Sabyasachi's Ray name is synonymous with GJEPC. His 2-decade-long tenure at the helm of the apex body of the gem and jewellery trade in India has witnessed GJEPC's evolution from a key national association to the brand we are today, a globally respected trade body. Let's have a huge round of applause once again for Mr. Sabyasachi Ray. Along with that, we are also expecting Ms. Manisha Gupta here. Ms. Manisha Gupta is the commodities editor and the only credible face on Indian media for all things commodities. She'll be arriving here in few minutes more. Along with that, ladies and gentlemen, now we would like to call between us our panelists here. And firstly, we have here Mr. Tamjid Abdullah, Deputy CEO, Jewellery Jewellery, with a huge round of applause. An Emirati and one of the most well-known personalities, Mr. Tamjid's family has been in the jewellery business since 1907. Born to a family of jewelers, it is no surprise that Tamjid has surrounded by the artisans and goldsmiths in his growing years. Along with that, please put your hands together for Mr. Konal Doshi, partner, Modern Impex. Mr. Konal Doshi was a member of GJEPC's Committee of Administration for 12 years and has been part of the Council's Jewellery Subcommittee for the past 30 years. As a partner of Modern Impex, he has been engaged in the jewellery business for 35 years, spearheading handmade jewellery exports for 3 decades, garnering numerous awards in the plain and studded categories. Ladies and gentlemen, along with that, please welcome with your applauses our next panelist, Mr. Chirag Vora, Director, Baffle. Mr. Chirag Vora, son of Mr. Ramesh Vora, joined his family business in 2008 And since then, he hasn't looked back. Mr. Chirag holds a bachelor's degree in management from the American University of Sharjah. He was also appointed as the committee member of the Golden Jewellery Group Dubai in 2010. Along with that, please put your hands together for Miss Samruddhi Zaveri from Haribhai Gems. Samruddhi Zaveri, a third generation jeweler of the legacy gemstones and jewelry brand Haribhai Gems and Jewelry. Her entrepreneurial spirit led her to establish the exquisite jewelry brand Jassu Jewelry House for Just You. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a huge round of applause for the moderator, for all the panelists of this session. Along with that, I request Mr. Sabyasachi to please set a context for this session here. Let's have a huge round of applause for the beginning of this session. This is the first session of today, right?
My apologies, I have to call Mr. Gaurav Pundir. Gaurav Pundir is the Deputy Secretary from the Ministry of Commerce, and I would like to see, he is the most important person here today with us. Mr. Gaurav Pundir is heading the the team which is negotiating the second round of India-UAE CEPA with the UAE government. Just now he is back from Abu Dhabi with the whatever are the amendments that is being done in the India-UAE CEPA. Thank you, Mr. Pundir, for joining, and we somehow has got him. He is in a very busy schedule. So I'll just start with the basic background of this. Of course, I know that today it is a difficult day because it's a cold day and also a lot of roads are blocked. We are waiting for the people, and the minister will be joining with us. Sir, just give you a basic background from where we are starting with the India-UAE CEPA. So if you look at the India and UAE, so the total bilateral trade today is more than $50 billion of all commodities, and the aim of the government of India is to reach $100 billion in the next 3 years. That is what is the aim of India-UAE CEPA, and it is going very robustly in that direction. And one of the most important component into that entire basket of trade is the gems and jewelry between India and UAE. So today, as it stands, the gem and jewelry bilateral trade is $20.56 billion, and of course in that the exports contributes to 5.77 billion and the imports is around $15 billion. This is as is today. It is growing at a pace of around 70 to 20% year upon year after the CEPA has been signed. And of course, UAE in terms of gems and jewelry is one of the top 3 destinations of exports for our country. And key export commodities when you look at UAE is the plain gold jewelry and cut and polished diamond. This is the main export commodities, and when you talk about imports, it is the gold and silver. So how it is panning after this? See, what are the major facets we understand? What is the advantages? What has been there is the 5% import duty waiver when you are exporting something to UAE. That is the main facets of the India-UAE CEPA. And at the same time, when you are importing the gold and silver bullion from UAE, 1% duty advantage on the import duty advantage has been given. And the tariff elimination, tariff reduction, all these are part of the CEPA. Of course, when Mr. Pundir will be taking his session, he will be briefing more into this. I do not want to go into this, but we basically, India and UAE complement each other in terms of the trade. That is how we are. Now the impact of trade pact with India and UAE and gem and jewelry, how it is, you will, if you find it into this slide, you will exactly understand how it went. It went up till 17.3 billion and it went down. So pre-COVID level was 17 around billion dollars, and it went down to $12 billion during the COVID. And then after the CPA has been signed, you see that how robustly it is growing. So it has grown. So if you see only in April to October 22 to April to October 23, it has seen a 19% rise in the trading itself. So if you look at exports, it has risen by 21%, and imports after dipping a bit, because in the initial stages we faced certain challenges in terms of importing from UAE. So it dipped a bit to 8.5 billion, and then it has now again gone up by 18%. So if you look at the export scenario, one of the segments which has gained hugely is the plain gold jewelry segment. If you just see April to October 22 to April to October 23, in the 7 months period, it has grown by a hopping more than 60%. The plain gold jewelry exports to UAE, one of the major products, has grown into that country. And if you look at the studded jewelry, of course that has gone as per the trend of around 20-25%, but the total exports have grown as we have seen is around 18%. Now, how the import has grown from UAE? So the background is exactly given here. If you see in terms of value and in terms of tonnage, so you will see that last year, as I have told, that based on the initial hiccups, the imports of gold has gone down to 25 tons from 52 tons. But only in April to October, if you see, it has already crossed that figure of 62 tons. Of course, the target is, as per the agreement which is signed, is 100 tons in the first year, 120 tons, and progressively it will go to 200 tons in the next 5 to 6 years. So that is the target, and this year we hope that we will be reaching the target. Of course, we have with us from IIBX Mr. Gautam. We are leveraging IIBX to see that this target is reached, and we hope that this target will be reached. So how the export growth has happened, if you see, we can, so let's say what is the aim. So India-UAE CEPA, we have done an internal study. Of course, we have come out with a book. The book is there with you. We have done a anecdotal evidential study, and we have seen that in 2008, the Hong Kong and China CEPA was signed. Let us not go into the geographical context of it, but if we look around, UAE is exactly to India the way Hong Kong is to China. So if we look, the back end of the entire manufacturing, etc., which is happening in China, and the front end, how the trading is happening in Hong Kong, if you look, these two complemented, and where they have reached based on that complementarity is that in 2008, only $8 billion were the trading volume between Hong Kong and China. It has gone to in 2015 to this highest point of $52 billion. Now also it is a robust of $50 billion. So one CEPA, how it can transform the entire business, the trading between the countries, can be looked into by Hong Kong and China. The same way we are hoping, or we are not only hoping, we are very expectant that this trade volume will again go to 5 to 6 times of what we are seeing. So 100 billion is not very far to achieve of, and with this background we will start with the session today. Thank you.
Thank you so very much for enlightening us. And ladies and gentlemen, now please put your hands together for Mr. Tamjid Abdullah for his keynote address.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you all for being here with us to enjoy this beautiful event. It's been organized by top-notch organizers here. I think this gathering is going to get a good results in the future. Today, I come from Dubai, United Arab Emirates. Dubai has always been nominated as the city of gold. Yet, if we go back in the history, like Mr. Pankaj told me earlier, he used to do business with my father back in the 70s. So our relation as a family with the Indian manufacturers, the Indian jewelers, goes back to many years ago. Now with this CEPA agreement of this beautiful, smooth trade between UAE and India has definitely encouraged a lot of new comers and new jewelers to have the possibility of coming into Dubai or exporting to Dubai or to UAE. At the same time, Dubai has been a hub of wholesale business in jewelry. It caters for lots of all the Middle East and some North Africa and some of the African countries as well. So now these Indian jewelers have the facility or the possibility today to show their products to all these buyers from all these countries. So today, Dubai has been known as to be the showcase of the jewelry business in the Middle East. So it's a good platform for all the Indian jewelers to come and present their jewelry through Dubai, through UAE, and it would definitely help them also to come and fetch the big variety, the big collections of the Indian jewelers through Dubai. We see that the growth that we have seen from the beginning of the CEPA agreement, we have seen some double-digit growth in the business between our company, let's say I talk about our company in particular, but in general, for the jewelry market in UAE, has definitely grown in a good way, and I'm sure this will soon also be much bigger figures, much bigger percentage of growth we will see, I'm sure, in the next years to come. Again, I would like to thank the organizers for this event for their efforts they have put to put this function together. And I really hope, guys, to see you soon, inshallah ta'ala, in some other events. Thank you all very much.
And ladies and gentlemen, now we are leaving the session to the moderator of the session. So let's have a huge round of applause. We're really looking for an interactive session with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. To start the session, I would request Mr. Gaurav to give a total background at where this agreement is right now from the government perspective and what we are looking forward.
Yeah, a very good morning to all of you, and thank you, Mr. Sabyasachi, for giving me this opportunity. As it is the case with government officials, my disclaimer is that the views which are expressed are of mine and does not necessarily reflect that of the Department of Commerce or Government of India. But yes, as Mr. Sabyasachi said, I led a delegation to UAE. And which is part of the implementation that we are now supervising and monitoring and overseeing, we have entered the second year of implementation of CEPA, and the 2 days were quite productive, and though Mr. Sabyasachi gave us quite a detailed overview of the numbers and the growth that we have seen, I must also say, particularly emphasizing on the gems and jewelry sector, that it is one of the important sectors and a kind of champion sector for us. And even in the preferential lines, we have seen quite robust growth. So, since we all the time do number crunching in the department also. If we compare from last year, which was kind of first year of implementation and introduction and enforcement of CEPA, on the preferential lines, overall he gave us a background. But what is important here, in my view, is to see how much is the utilization on the preferential lines, because that is the idea of getting that the benefit of that 5% duty benefit that is envisaged under CEPA. So on that, if you compare with from May to October this year to last year, while last year it was $1.2 billion, this year it has been $1.8 billion so far. So there is around a healthy growth of 43% there as well. And what is an important point here is that if you look at the top 10 export sectors for the country, under the preferential lines, gems and jewelry account for around 57% of that export. So that actually signifies and contextualizes the importance that the sector holds for the success of this CEPA. And And we should also be mindful that when we talk about the $100 billion target of bilateral trade to be achieved by 2030, that is non-oil trade, right? So that is very challenging. That's not easy. So while you see that the overall bilateral trade is reached $80 billion, but if you exclude oil trade out of it, then reaching a target of $100 billion is really a challenge. And we look forward towards the gems and jewelry sector to really help us achieve that target for us. And yes, indeed, overall trade figures, as Mr. Sabyasachi said, has also been on an upswing. Although we do see a little headwind there in terms of overall trade, but we are hopeful that as we complete this financial year, we should be able to surpass the figures that we achieved last year. Now coming to the outcomes, I think I did share with some of you informally also. One of the key asks which was given to us by our Export Promotion Council was with regarding to IJEX. So we understand IJEX has been a very good initiative, a B2B initiative which has been established. It has been doing well. Now, one of the demands which was given to us, rather a request to us, was if IJEX can be granted a TRN number in UAE, which will certainly facilitate consignment jewelry and exhibition jewelry export to that country, because what is happening with the non-registered exporters there, that they are not able to avail duty benefits as of now. So we took it up with them, and I'm happy to share with all of you in the hall that the UAE side was very receptive to that idea, and in principle they agreed that yes, they would consider that request of granting a TRN number to IJEX, and in fact we will also share with you. I mean, what I proposed to them is some kind of a single point of contact in their ministry, with whom our people can reach out, and they agreed to share that as well with us. So we understand that if IJEX fulfills all their statutory requirements, AML, they had their concerns regarding AML CFT regulations and others. So it is nobody's case that we are asking for any relaxation on regulations. IJEX, I'm sure, and even our Export Promotion Council are well equipped to fulfill whatever regulations they mandate. So that was the point that I told them as well. So that is one good thing that emanated out of that subcommittee meeting. I must also share with you that the UAE side had multiple concerns regarding some of their consignments getting stuck in our ports. So that was also one of the points that was raised by them. I had my customs colleagues also with me joining over the call there, and we assured them to look into those issues. I understand that there are sensibilities, there are reservations on part of our regulators in terms of the value addition, in terms of the certificates that are being produced. So I told them quite categorically that there is no trust deficit here as such between the two authorities, but yes, my institutions and my tax authorities are well within their right to do their due diligence. I myself come from the income tax department, so I can relate to that. But having said that, yes, there have been delays, and we are working on that as well. And before I conclude my thoughts, I joined this division quite recently, but one important thing that I understood, and perhaps that has been my personal observation, is that unlike UAE side, where they give us very specific concerns, even going up to the naming the name of the entities and companies, that is not forthcoming from the Indian side. So my request to the Export Promotion Council would be that besides the policy issues, if our exporters are facing any operational challenges there with their customs authorities or with their other authorities, please feel free to reach out to us, to the ministry, and give us representation, so that in the subsequent meetings we can take those issues up with the UAE authorities, and that will certainly be helpful in terms of addressing the concerns which could pertain to the industry-wide issues. So these are my thoughts on the implementation stage at this stage, and if there are any follow-up questions, I'm happy to take. Thank you.
Thank you, Gauravji. And of course, the government of India has played a huge role into this, both the government of India and UAE, to complete this agreement in record, some 88, 89 days they have completed it, which is of course a record of sorts in any parts of the world. Now, we have heard, of course, the jargons, the figures, but when it boils down to the brass tacks, how it is done, I think nobody is better here than Kunal Bhai. I think Kunal Doshi is a long ranger into the India-UAE trade. He is heading one of the largest handmade jewelry exporters from India. And let us hear from him the perspective that what was before CEPA and what is after CEPA, when in terms of doing business and in terms of taking it forward, in terms of exports and imports and the trade itself. Kunal Doshi.
Good morning, dear friends. Thank you, Sabyasachi, for inviting me to this highly esteemed panel. And as Mr. Pudir has just said, he just defeated my first point when he said that consignment export is going to be allowed. So I was going to talk about it. Anyway, so it's a great thing. And see, the India-UAE has been, India and UAE have been strategic partners for the last, I believe, 50 years. Even before trade was allowed on a normal routine, there was a license system for exports of jewelry from India, and there was a quota system based on which, based on your last year's performance, you were able to get this year's quota. So we have come a long way from that. It's a free regime. It's like working domestically. Similarly, you work in UAE. Now, UAE has a strategic location of being one of the best distributors of jewelry to the world. And India has been the masters in creating handcrafted jewelry, which is distinct because each piece is different. Each worker works according to what is in his brain. There is a design concept, but the final product that comes out has tweaked. There are permutation combinations to it, and they are able to deliver to different cultures across the world. So today, be it the Indian diaspora across the world, or now the Middle East countries which like handmade jewelry and they appreciate it. We are now reaching out to the African countries also, where there is a huge market for gold jewelry, and UAE is the base from which this is possible to export. What makes UAE special? They are able to exchange gold to gold, which in India, after so many years, we still cannot. So the element of scrap gold, old gold to new gold. There are refineries in UAE which cater to these markets. So somebody coming from Ghana can bring his old gold, deposit with the customs, it is refined, and it becomes a commodity which is exchanged. In India, because of our duty structures, we are unable to do it. But going forward, I would request that where the TRQ, under TRQ, we are able to receive gold of purity, which is defined fineness, we should take it one step forward and be allowed to import scrap. And the scrap, there may be a system which works for us, where the gold can be deposited in the refinery in UAE, which has a tie-up with us, and the gold can come straight in the name of the customer, and we can exchange gold to gold, and there will be a huge saving in transaction cost. We are looking at the major retail stores in India who are opening branches now in the Middle East. So this is an extension of the strategic alliance we have and the comfort level we have working in the UAE. And another thing that should be allowed between the two countries is uh, exchange of design elements, because the UAE caters to so many markets, and they are able to uh, get jewelry which is made in Italy, Turkey, Malaysia, and those design concepts can be fused with Indian to handcrafted jewelry, and there will be an element of machine which is attached to it, and you get a product which nobody in the world can duplicate immediately. And we should have a tie-up with the UAE major distributors and exchange of designs. When we say investment opportunities, I say not in finance, I say investment opportunities in ideas, in creating those designing elements which will take the next generation forward. And we are looking forward, at least our young generation is looking forward to a very fruitful decade wherein we are going to prosper much faster than what we did in 40 years, we'll be able to do in 10 years. And we are looking forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you, Kunal Bhai. After Kunal Bhai, I want to go to Chirag. You know, Chirag Bhora heads Bafle. And when we talk about Bafle, you know, for council, Bafle acted as the eyes to the Middle East. When we all started, we came to know Middle East through the Bafle. And of course, I would like to understand, because whenever we used to go to Bafle, we used to see that from different nationalities, people were thronging in their shops. And of course, when we took look at the plain gold jewelry, now they have expanded to studded gold also. So I will just have the perspective from Chirag in the B2B level, how the Dubai, caters to the entire of the Middle East and also the African market, how they are catering, and how it was and how it is changing, and with the CEPA, how he looks at it, future, how it will change.
Thank you, Sabyasachi ji. Thank you everyone for being present over here. Lovely platform, forum to discuss the vital UAE CEPA agreement. I think after Singapore, India was the first country to proactively get the CEPA done, while there were negotiations being done with Indonesia, Turkey, Malaysia. India jumped up, and like Sabyasachi ji said, in 89 days we were able to achieve the CEPA. So great achievement for India. The figures say it all. It has been quite a positive double-digit growth in terms of the export to Dubai. Dubai has been the gateway. And in terms of markets, I think Calcutta jewelry has been like 30 since 1970s, 60s, has been one of the main handcrafted jewelry that is liked by people all across. So people in Saudi, people in Kuwait, people across in Africa. So we are now currently exporting Calcutta jewelry to US, UK, Middle East, all across Middle East. So I have personally witnessed and seen 8 to 10 kilo necklace set, which is from here till here, that are specially customized for jewelers in Libya. So during a wedding, they all prefer handcrafted Indian goods. So now why India and not why Italy or some other parts of the world? As soon as the Italian, there is a hand touch to it, instead of $3, it becomes 8 euros. So that is the competitive advantage that India is having, where we are still having jewelry at 4, 5, 6 wastage. If you go to Italy, it's all double digit. So there's a jeweler in Italy, handcrafted. 8 euros, 800 loss. We're like, what? And that's when India has this advantage, but I don't think any country will be able to compete. Indonesia also has, but Indonesia is far superior in terms of machine made. If you ask them to do something handcrafted, they are way behind. So I think the figures that the government wishes to achieve, it is not going to be impossible. And yes, Dubai can be the platform to expand the reach across the world.
Thank you. And of course, we have heard everything about Dubai and how it is helping to outreach, because when we talk about trade, we talk about both the sides. And I would like to go to the very young entrepreneur, the women entrepreneur in the room. And she is, of course, the third generation entrepreneur. So, Samruddhi, I would request you that from your perspective, because you are very new into this perspective, you have heard, because the traditional business, how it has grown from India to UAE, and between us, how the trade has grown. So, from your perspective, I think this is a design perspective, a new age business, how we are looking at it. So, I want to understand from you that what is your perspective about how the India-UAE business, how you are looking at it, and with the CEPA and the future, how you are looking at it.
Thank you so much. Very warm good morning to everyone. It's a pleasure being here and to be on such esteemed platform. So I'll tell a little bit more about the kind of work I'm doing. So I have a fine jewelry brand, Jasu. We wanted to add some colors to everybody's wardrobe. So we are doing something with precious stones. And also we've taken an edge ahead by innovating in the diamond cuts. And that's what we offered, or we took ourselves to UAE with that kind of jewelry. And we are a part of IJEX, which is an initiative by GJPC, which was one of the very significant aspect for us. As a young designer, I would say that UAE is also inviting a lot of global residents. So the market is getting very adaptive to new kind of experiments if anybody has to offer. And everybody, as even Mr. Chirag said, that the price point, even the end consumer is looking at a very good price range for any kind of jewelry they want to purchase. So that's where I think we as Indian exporters and jewelry industry have definitely an edge over offering something which is global, of global standards, but at definitely a better rate. So that is something I feel we jewelers from India are taking forward to, looking forward to. And yeah, I think it's very modern and it is the best time to be in UAE because there is a very good change there and people are being very adaptive to new kind of cultures and new things are happening there. So it was great to be a part there and to start my journey at the right time with the right platform.
Thank you, Samruddhi, and it is so good to hear that how IJEX is helping the new age businesses. And I would now go to Tamjid Bhai. You know, Tamjid Bhai, you are coming to India in the recent times. I think you are the most traveled person to India. And Jawhara, we have also seen the change of Jawhara. Recently I have gone, I have seen that how your windows have also changed to one or two windows have kept only for Indian jewelry. So it was a revelation to me. So from that part of the world and how the business is moving, and you also have seen the growth and movement of this business, what will be your prescription to India and also how to grow it basically from your side?
Thank you very much for this very interesting question. Today, we see that the relationship as jewelers in UAE or in Dubai, our relation goes back to more than 45, 50 years ago with the Indian manufacturers. And we've seen that the handcrafted jewelry from India definitely has no match anywhere else around the world. And if it is matched, then like Mr. Chirag was saying, is going to be multiplied by different figures. We understand that today the UAE hosts about 227 different nationalities that they live in UAE. That forces us to be more in developing extra designs to satisfy the multinational place. We are a cosmopolitan country. In aspect of the wholesale, when this CEPA agreement has taken place, it has encouraged, as I mentioned earlier, all the jewelers to come and show their jewelry through Dubai. At the same time, it encouraged all the clientele to come, or the wholesales from other countries, to come. Instead of going to India, they come to Dubai to see all the buffet of jewelry in there. Now, we have noticed that the past few years, the jewelry exhibitions taking place in India, in different places, has also encouraged us to do and build more relationships with newcomers in the jewelry business, to bring their jewelry and showcase it through our shops in Dubai, like you said earlier. Today, we have dedicated in most of our shops some certain locations for all the Indian manufactured jewelry, because that makes us also proud that we have such standards of finishing, such standard of designs coming from India. We see a great future with this relationship between UAE and India, and I'm sure this will develop more and more in the future. Again, thank you very much, Mr. Subchachi, because the fundamentals are there. We have passionate people about the Indian jewelry. At the same time, we have a big platform of community of Asians and Indians in our country that also love the jewelry that they have. They see it here in India, to buy it back in Dubai. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I will now go to Chirag. Chirag, what we have seen in recent times in UAE, of course, the retail is exploding. If we see what had been, at least from India, what Jewellery started, it moved to Malabar, then it moved to Kalyan. Now we see that Tanishq is also in its expansion spree, and other brands are also there in the retail space, the Indian retail, what I am talking about. Now, what is your perspective about, the explosion of retail in Dubai in terms of all these, Indian retailers going there and expanding?
So, to take Tanishq as a name, so Tanishq has a very stringent policy of onboarding vendors. So earlier they had a little bit of a hesitation while they were expanding into India, but now with the CEPA open, they have got that duty benefit where they are able to freely expand, and I think Tanishq has already started 10 to 12 showrooms, and they have a vision of 30 storerooms across GCC. So Dubai becomes the gateway into Bahrain, into Kuwait, into Qatar. So that's why the port Dubai is very important. Joy Lucas, Kalyan, Malabar, all of them know that they have expanded significantly into these areas, and now the head offices stationed in UAE are venturing into US, into UK, because that is the center for them. I believe Senco has also finalized the shop. Senco is also having a good expansion plan into UAE. So Thangals has come in, Arakal. So if you come to the Gold Souk, if you have come 3 years before and now, it is a different face. It is no longer just dominated by one jeweler. I think it is a mix of jewelers all across, and most of them have backgrounds from India. So 22 carat jewelry is one of the most significant jewelry, because Indians, they keep on investing into gold for the back in the days, I have to give jewelry for wedding purposes. So that rituals are still continuing, and that's why all these jewelers need, and Indian jewelry becomes a significant part of it. That's why.
Good to hear it, and of course, when the retail, expands, that means, the buyer crowd in Dubai also expands. I'm talking about B2C buyer crowd, and with this expansion of retail, of course, it has to, our supply has to keep in pace with that. So if the supply has to keep in pace, What is the outlook from the Indian side if that India has to act as a very good back end to the supply of what the UAE will be consuming? So I'd ask Kunal Bhai to his perspective on how the supply will keep up with this expansion or explosion of the demand in from the Dubai.
I'd like to give an example to this question about when we started exporting Calcutta handmade jewellery in 1988. At that time, 22 carat jewellery is suitable for export markets. We were able to produce 20 kilos per month, and the capacity of Calcutta to produce that jewellery was 100 kilos per month. Today, Calcutta, if required, can produce 5 tons of jewellery per month. That is the difference to that question. So, if, as we Gujaratis say, if there is a buyer, supply will never stop. So I am not worried about supply of existing jewelry where we already have the expertise. We want to go into a new area, which is the fusion jewelry, and in that scenario we would like to be able to make the changes as desired with the implementation of the machinery that is used across the world. So that is the step forward, and that is where with the alliance with UAE we would like to forge new partnerships and go ahead and train our existing workers to adapt the new manufacturing skills that is required. So that should be the way forward. And just something out of the question mode is about the new rupee dirham trade which has been proposed. So, Sabyasachi, you want to talk about it? Because I was just thinking about the rupee dirham trade, where the dirham is a fixed currency pegged to the dollar at a fixed exchange rate, whereas the Indian rupee is dynamic, prone to changes in the exchange rate. But for our gold jewelry, which is linked with value addition norms to the price of the gold or the silver or the platinum, we can easily adapt the rupee dirham trade, because whatever we import will be paid in rupees, whatever we export will be received in rupees, because we are just doing a new way of value addition as a labor job work, and there is no loss to either nation, because it is an exchange of only the net amount is only the job work element or the studded value which comes in, which can be adopted immediately for the rupee dirham trade. Thank you.
Thank you, Kunal Bhai. Of course, one of the things what CPI has achieved is to coming out of this colonial mindset. What our Prime Minister always says is that, the LBMA fix has become the Dubai Good Delivery, and based on that, between India and UAE, the norms of the business are fixed up. The international norms of the business, whether it is rupee dirham or the Dubai Good Delivery or price fixing, all these norms are being based on the two countries, how they are deciding and how they are dictating the thing. So between these two countries, the business will be done based on the norms of these two countries. That is one of the tenets of the India-UAE CEPA. And of course, now, we are coming to the end of the session, but before that, I want to ask Samruddhi that one of the conceptually changing things what we did in Dubai is to see that to continue with this supply, to create new entrepreneurs, new age entrepreneurs, continuing supplying the entrepreneurs, So Samruddhi is that kind of entrepreneur who latched upon with the IJX. Just give an experience that how IJX has helped you, to have your first step into the Dubai market.
Thank you so much. So I would like to call myself as a jewelrypreneur because we, jewelry as an industry has always been very generational, but you see some very good new jewelrypreneurs entering the market and making it big. So platforms like IJEX and initiatives like these from our ministries will always be a very important uh, catalyst for anybody in this industry to grow. One of the major things which I feel I have seen my father in the business, we all come from one kind of uh, system of doing a business when it comes to jewelry. But this just helps us, it is more like an incubation center, I would like to call it, because it just gives you that jump start, or it gives you a no commitment entry to the market where you can see, test your products and understand what is the right fit. And also, as Sir said that, if there is a buyer, we always have a supply. And you can always innovate because back in our home in India, we have all the facility. So it always gives us that leverage to understand. So platform like IJEX was something which was very important for us. Another thing would be for entering any new market, you take a lot of time. You take a lot of time to understand what is right and what is wrong, or probably to meet the right kind of person, because it's a very referential business when it comes to jewelry. But when you are on such platforms like IJEX, you have a very filtered kind of advice and contacts where you can go or probably meet the right person in a very short period of time. So that enabled us, and it always motivates us as new generation, because we all, since it's a generational industry, but we want to make it bigger than what we've been given or passed on to. Another thing I would like to mention as being on this platform, that I come from a central region of India, which is Chhattisgarh, Raipur. And when I started, I was the first person to start export. So again, it's such a rich industry belt where you have such great potential. But belts like these, apart from the major ports, which are the western ports of India, you can get these facilities and you can just promote it there. So it is very important. And another thing I would like to request, or probably just address to the ministry and the association, that thank you for giving such platform to us and always enabling us with something like this. And I think it's the need of an hour to promote new entrepreneurs in the industry. And we would want to request you to do such initiations in other countries as well, so we can just go global and make a mark. Thank you.
Thank you, Samruddhi. And of course, to end the session today, I would request to say the final word by Mr. Tamjid. We are privileged to have him here as such a experienced businessman from Dubai. So, Mr. Tamjid, just to end this session, your word of advice going forward, what should be looked into and how it should go forward.
Thank you very much. Again, I would like to thank you all for being here and giving us your attention. I see that I have noticed in the last India Jewelry Design Award, I have seen some lots of talents. Seriously, some very good creators of new designs and selective products. I would advise, or my suggestion to the designers is to approach manufacturers, because that would definitely add more to the varieties of the jewelry made in India. We have seen, or we have noticed, a lot of growth in this market here in manufacturing standards. Today, in the past, we used to have the Indian jewelry manufacturers don't care much about the finishing or about the level of setting the stones, etc. Now we see that's using some high technology or good technology in that has enhanced the standard and the level of the jewelry production here. I would love to see more of these jewelers going abroad or coming even through us, through our platform in Dubai or in UAE, to launch their collections to the rest of the world, to go global. So I really thank you all very much for being here, and I thank the organizers of this event and the organizers of all the jewelry show that takes place here in India. And I'm one of the main or the visitor that would not miss one exhibition, whether it's big or small, south or north or east or west in India. I would love to come and see these new jewelers coming in and bring their jewelry designs to our country, to UAE, to be proud of showing the Indian jewelry through our platform. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tamjid Bhai, and of course that is very heartening to know that retailers or businessmen or like Jawhara, the brand like Jawhara is looking to India to source in new designs, new technology. So that means India is reaching there or has reached there in terms of technology and design. And with this word and with this hope of the future to go to $100 billion, and as you have heard Gaurav saying that for 100 to achieve the trade of $100 billion between India and UAE, the gems and jewelry sector will play a key role into that. And with this hope of reaching $100 billion of 2030 and this business expanding exponentially, we'll end this session. Thank you everybody. Thank you all the speakers. Yes. Okay. So that I forgot. If there is any question and answer questions to the the speakers, it is welcome. We have our people there who will be helping you with the mics. Do you have any questions? Yes.
Like I said, this question I'm addressing both to Chirag and Konal Bhai. We have exports from India to UAE in two verticals, which is one plain gold jewelry and studded jewelry. Now, in both the verticals, we have handmade and machine made. I would like to know what percentage in both verticals is handmade to machine made, because then it gives us a direction for newcomers where to venture in. Thank you.
So, one of the points that I forgot to address, that earlier on, Indian handmade jewelry constituted to a significant portion of the exports. But recently, like Tamjid Bhai mentioned, the Indian manufacturers have imported a lot of Italian technology, a lot of Western technology in the factories. So the finishing and all has gone very good. So we, back in the days, pre-COVID, could not even think of importing Indian chains because the finishing was nowhere compared to the Italian or the Singaporean chains. But recently, if you've seen the likes of Swarna Shelves and all those guys, they have upgraded the finish, emerald state-of-art technology. They're doing electrofoaming as well. So proportion would be difficult to justify, but we have seen a significant rise in modern day technology being implemented into Indian factories. There are so many good factories in Rajkot which are able to not, I wouldn't say exactly match, but if Italian is 100, they've been able to reach up to 95% of the finishing and the weight. So that is the direction. I would say give it another 2-3 years and we will be at par to their levels.
Thank you. And we need to, of course, we had started the session a bit late. We need to wrap up this session because I think the minister is on his way. So we would thank everybody, all the panelists. Thank you. Thank you for coming. And with this, we end this session with the photo session.
Yes, thank you so much to all the speakers. We request a moment here. We request everyone to please give us a moment here. Along with that, we request Mr. Vipul Shah, Chairman, GJEPC, to please join us on the dais to acknowledge the efforts and the time all the speakers have given us today. Once again, here we would like to deliver the mementos to all the speakers. Along with the applauses, everyone. Here we would like to deliver the memento to Mr. Sabyasachi Ray, to Mr. Tamjid Abdullah. With your applauses, everyone. And to Mr. Sabyasachi Ray. And to Mr. Konal Doshi. To Mr. Chirag Vora. And Ms. Samruddhi Zaveri. We request everyone to please join us for a group picture here, to all the speakers and with the chairman. Ladies and gentlemen, that was a very enlightening session. Thank you so much to each and every one of you for being a great audience here. Along with that, we are beginning with the next session in next 5 to 10 minutes. We request all those who are sitting at the corner seats or the corner rows to please join us in the middle area, please. I can see the middle seats are still available and not occupied yet, so you all can join us in the middle seats here. Thank you so much.